nakikita niyo dito yung ilang hanay. Para maintindihan lang natin, I'll just give some background. ICRC, the International Committee, dahil una 5 yan, Committee of 5, nandito. Yan ay pangyera, normally. Yan ang nag-invento ng mga Geneva Conventions, na may rules of war. Ang IFRC, kami yan. Kami ang nangasiwa, di lang pangyera, ngunit sa mga lahat ng disasters. All the disasters, we're always in there, from blood to other services, tracing and everything. And then you have the partner national societies here, which are all part of IFRC. You have the American Red Cross over there, you have the Australian Red Cross, the Japanese Red Cross, the Swedish Red Cross. Our head of the delegation is a Swede. You have the Norwegian Red Cross, you have the British Red Cross, you have Spanish Red Cross. Who else have I missed? Taiwan Red Cross. They're meeting with their counterpart right now in Singapore, so we'll call them Taiwan Red Cross now. And they've always been Taiwan Red Cross anyway, and the Norwegian, right? And the Swiss Red Cross. So, and a lot of other Red Cross societies. I cannot remember them. I'm getting old. The Canadian Red Cross here is also here. Also, let me also tell you that Philippine Red Cross is there's about 102 Red Cross chapters and branches all over the country. So today is a great day for us because it is not the culmination. As you can see, our slogan for this event is ceaseless recovery and renewal. I created that, but I'm tired. I only had 2 hours sleep last night. Sorry. Ceaseless recovery and renewal. We just did that last night. Ngayong araw po ito, gusto ko malaman nyo na we started this whole effort together. We've always been together, but as the gentleman who spoke in here ahead said that this is one of the most successful, if not the most successful, coordination and cooperation by the movement. Maghanap kayo, ito, talo natin ang Haiti, talo natin yung nangyari sa Indonesia, even in other parts of the world. And that is because from the very beginning, nung mangyari ito, we were all together right away. We all agreed. I wrote a letter right away to all the societies of the world. The Red Cross of the Philippines will accept all the assistance from our sister societies all over the world, from the ICRC, but we have to make sure that we're coordinated. So, makikita nyo dyan, naka-assign ang Australian Red Cross, ang American Red Cross, ang Japanese Red Cross in a specific province with a specific effort. Na kasama palagi ang Philippine Red Cross with our volunteers, our logistics, and our resources as well. 15,000 volunteers of the Red Cross work day and night during this crisis. Nung pumutok yan, we already sent warnings to all our people to mobilize our 143 base. Yung 143 base ay nasa barangay yan para maganda at mailigtas ang mga tao. Pero napakalakas. Typhoon was so strong, it was the strongest typhoon to hit the world at that time. And I'll tell you, the heroism of some of our leaders, our chapter administrator there, was on top of the roof, and with the staff of the Red Cross and even his family, because they brought their family there, and it almost swamped the whole building of the Red Cross. But she had the presence of mind to tie up the ambulance on the post para hindi maanod. Let me just say also that from the very beginning, when this happened, the lights went off, communication went off. Natatandaan nyo lahat yan. There was no contact. And our first contact, quite frankly, came from a young lady by the name of Kathy Gearing. She's right there. Can you stand up, from Australia? She was there working with me about a couple of weeks before, and she called us and said, we have to help. Chairman, you've got to come down here. There are a lot of people who are dead here. A lot of people are hungry. There's looting. Para makita nyo yung ambience. I always start everything by reminding you of the ambience. It is the best of times, it was the worst of times. Sabi nga ni Charles Dickens. There it was the worst of times. No communication. The only reason why she was able to communicate was because she had able to grab hold of the ICRC satellite phone. And there were lessons learned afterwards. To get there, normally it takes about 18 hours. We had to come up with truckloads after that phone call by Kathy Gearing. We had already ready. We released everything. Everything came down by highway. It took us 4 days to get there. 3.5 to 4 days. There was even an insurrection going on in Sorsogon. There were landslides. There were things like debris. There were dead bodies when you got into the bridge in San Juanico. Makikita nyo, napakahirap umabot doon. We had to leave part of the cargo to Sama right away because they were already hungry. We brought 10,000 tins of ready-to-eat meals because wala nang time to get food or to cook. And when we got there, we even brought fuel. Eventually, that fuel truck was used. We were asked by the United Nations to use the fuel truck to distribute fuel to the entire Samar and Leyte area. We brought in water tankers, we brought in a rescue truck, we brought in a crew. They were supposed to rescue people, but they ended up very, very tearfully picking up dead people. They brought in body bags, and later on we put up a refrigerated truck to bring in the bodies there. So makikita nyo, pagdating doon, it was a sea of devastation. The airport was down, the piers were not working, the airport was not working, there were debris all over it. I don't have to tell you what happened. You guys are veteran journalists and you know what's going on. But when we got there right away, we got to work. Immediately, because of the coordination with the ICRC and the IFRC and all partner national societies, we all stood up right away and said, let's make a quick assessment. The assignments were made, and at the same time, we started coming in with the food, with the non-food items that were distributed. You know, one of the things that we have introduced in the Red Cross since I became chairman was never to hand out food anymore. The volunteers will lay out the food so that people, we are in the business not of handing out, we're in the business of raising the dignity of our people. So the volunteers bring the food down and everybody lines up there, and in the process we also give them time to learn that kunyari yung pagkain na binibigay o yung non-food item, they are your families in case of a typhoon. And when we whistle once, you hold on to your ear, you listen. And when I did that the first time, a lot of women started shaking. They thought there was another typhoon coming. They were traumatized. And then the second, the two whistles would be to pick up the cargo, the food as your families, and then the three whistles, afterwards will mean evacuate. These are all done very orderly, and we never wasted any time trying to make us look good, but really trying to get the business of recovery and upliftment of the people with their dignity. And so, everybody cooperated. By February, the first week, we already had the first schools rehabilitated. Not rehabilitated, but we put in 166 classrooms right away. We were the first organization to put up those classrooms. It occurred in November 8th. By the first week of January, the schools with 166 classrooms brought about by China, the Philippines, and the IFRC, we all were able to put it up. We had the payloaders to pay. We had the cementing that was done by the PRC. We had the manpower, and the Chinese brought these buildings so that we could work right away. Initially, they wanted them to be used as homes. We did not allow that because they were so small, and that was totally ridiculous to use them as homes. But they agreed to make them schools. Immediately, we had assistance from all over, not just the food, not just the non-food items. To show you how serious the movement was, we had no less than the chairman of the Federation, Taditori Gonoe, the Secretary General of the Federation. They were both here. That's very rare to see them both in one area. Later on, the President of the ICRC, the Chairman and then President of the ICRC, came down here as well. Peter Maurer, and we went to Samar. As our gentleman from ICRC stated, ICRC is normally involved with conflicted areas, so they work with us as PRC there, and that's where we went. Nonetheless, after about 16 or about 18 months of full-time recovery effort, I'm happy to tell you today that on the principle of being focused, and we were focused on cooperation and coordination. We were focused on bringing volunteers tried and tested into the area who know how to give water by way of a system where you put in a water filtration devices so that we can clean up the water, deliver it by water tankers to bladders priorly assigned, and providing people with jerry cans. We were able to deliver water systems, and that became one of the easier tasks afterwards. We relieved ourselves of that effort. Also, in the process, as we were focused, we were also focused on making sure that people help themselves. But we had to do it fast. So we started building homes, and the shelter that was being built was done with the people themselves. Sila ang gumagawa ng bahay, nag-provide kami ng karpentero, para magsukat, para magkasinta, and afterwards they did the homes. I can tell you also that we were very, very not only focused and fast, we were also friendly to the people because the people needed immediately cash grants. And this is the biggest cash grant ever given in the whole world. Pagpasok namin dyan, about 298 million pesos in cash grants were given. Walang tanong. Binigyan ng pera, 5,000, 2,000, 10,000 iba depending on their situation. And I can tell you one girl, Irene, in Leyte, that became the Buko Queen. That was an unconditional cash transfer, but she made a business out of putting up buko stands everywhere, having a carinderia now, having her own little pickup and her own boat. This is one of the fantastic stories that we have, and ensuring that the Red Cross was always friendly to our people. And let me tell